Shalom. We are in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11. I think it's verse 26. And the parasha is called Re'eh. That means to see. And Yahweh is basically giving them a visual. Now what I studied this morning is the visual representation of the mountain of blessings and the mountain of curses. Mount Ebal, the mountain of curses, that's the mountain on the left. And Ebal basically means bold and stone where nothing grows. And Mount Gerizim, that means to cut or cuttings, it's plural for to cut, and give you the idea of the pruning process. And that's the mountain on the left, which has got a lot of greenery on it, the mountain of blessing. In the middle of the two mountains is called Shechem. Shechem means shoulder. And if you look at the two mountains, you can actually see two shoulders with a missing head. And when the priests stood in the middle, Moses divided the people, 6 tribes on a side, to stand in front of every mountain to depict the blessings and the curses divided between the two houses. And that prophetically is also true with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. The one who decided to do idol worship lost 10 tribes, they lost their identity. Mountain of curse, Mount Ebal. Mount Gerizim is the mountain where Judah, Benjamin and Levi stayed in Jerusalem, and that's from where Mashiach, Yeshua, was born, from the tribe of Judah. And the Levites were present in the land as well. That facilitated the sacrificial system, and that's to facilitate also the first or the sacrifice of Mashiach during his first coming. So all of those things came into play, and it's prophetic of what is to come. Nothing in Scripture is by accident, and everything has got a purpose and a meaning. Now what I discovered this morning is that these two mountains, when you look at the Gematria, specifically of Mount Ebal, there's the word stone, and then thorny or thorn, and bare mountain. Now the bare mountain or Mount Thorn was the mountain referred to as Mount Sinai, and that's where Yahweh spoke the 10 words. Now what's interesting about the instructions Yahweh gave Moses in regards to these two mountains is that Moses should put up a stone pillar or big stone, plaster it, and write the commandments on it. He also had to do a olah offering, which is an elevation offering, and a shalamim offering, which is a peace offering. And all of that he had to do on Mount Ebal, the mountain on the left, the mountain of curse, the bold mountain. And that is basically depicting Sinai, Mount Thorn, with a Gematria of Ebal confirming that with thorn in one of its meanings, where Yahweh spoke, and that's the symbolism of the stone with the commandments, and where Yahweh gave the tablets of stone with the commandments, and where Moses had to repeat the Torah to the congregation, to the assembly of Israel. Now those were the instructions given. Now later on, it actually was done in the time of Joshua. Moses didn't do it, but Joshua did it in I think it's Joshua chapter 8, I think. And it's also recorded, no, it's not recorded, it's in Joshua chapter 8, where Joshua actually set up the pillar, carved out the commandments on the plastered pillar or stone, and then did the sacrifices and separated the two tribes, and then read the commandments in the presence of the congregation and everything that was given to Moshe. So that was basically the repeating of the Torah through the mouth of Joshua. Now what is that a picture of? It's a picture of Matthew 25, Sermon on the Mount, where Joshua / Yeshua taught the Torah from the mountain. But what Yeshua did, he highlighted the spirit of the Torah, the intent of the Torah, or the Torah taught to people in a new generation, a new culture, a new time frame. And that's what the spirit of the Torah is about. And that's what teaching the Torah is about, is to extract the wisdom and then relay it in a way that that particular culture in the future will understand it. Now you're conveying the spirit of the Torah, or the heart of the Torah. And it also aligns and harmonize with the concept of writing the Torah on the heart. You're speaking to the hearts of people in a language, their own language, or their own understanding within their culture, that they can receive it and take it into their hearts. That will change their nature. So that's a beautiful picture of that. So that is the cursed mountain, the one on the left. Now, one on the left means physical. That's the work that was done in the physical, first with Moses, Mount Sinai, Mount Thorn, then Mount Ebal with the curses. And what is actually set up on Mount Curse, or the Mount of the Curse, curses are that it provides the solution to the problem. The problem is a cursed nation. So Yahweh addressed a cursed nation that just left Israel at Mount Sinai. And now Joshua is addressing a cursed nation from Mount Ebal and speaking to them, so that they can then move towards Mount Gerizim. Now, Mount Gerizim means cuttings. It also means to cut, and that is the pruning process. What you'll note in the word Gerizim, it's got the letter Zion in there. Now, Zion means sword. So that's the other meaning of Mount Sinai. It's Mount Cheref, which is the name of Mount Sinai that Moses used in Devarim, the mountain of the sword. So you have the two mountains, one mountain with two functions. So Mount Sinai, depicted as Mount Ebal, is Mount Thorn, and Mount Sinai, depicted as Mount Gerizim, is Mount Cheref, the one with the sword, the one with the pruning process, the one with the blessings. And that is the result of the commandments that has been spoken at Mount Ebal will then be repeated at Mount Gerizim. And that's a prophetic picture of his future Yeshua teaching the Torah from the mountain, but this time not as the suffering servant, but this time as the king. So we see the mirror image of the two mountains, Mount Cheref and Mount Gerizim, not Mount Cheref, Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, as a mirror of the same thing in two different time zones. So what I mentioned last week is, if you enter the promised land crossing the Jordan in the wrong time frame, you'll walk into the winepress. When you cross the Jordan, you enter into the promised land in the right time frame, you'll walk into the garden, into restored garden or paradise. It's the same way with the symbolism of these two mountains. And what's connecting the two is the Ark of the Covenant, or the idea of the covenant. And it's the covenant that translates Mount Ebal into Mount Gerizim, or Gerizim. So I'll just want to leave you with those few thoughts. We'll continue with the study the rest of this week as we prepare for this coming Sabbath. I hope you have a lovely day, and may Yahweh bless you. Shalom.